Sir, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Ma'am, thanks for stopping by. Hope you all having a great day. So I'd like to get into what I call the new phase of Magic Man, and this is how this works. So behind me on the lift, we've got Chantilly. Chantilly is a 1956 Chevy Bel Air that came from Houston. I'm doing the work for this car for free. Shelly, the owner, is paying for all the materials to do a chassis on this car. I reached out to SSCHASSISWORKS, link in the description. They're gonna manual bend us frame rails for the car. They can manual bend frame rails for anything, providing you give them dimensions on what you need. So instead of taking 2x4 box tubing and cutting it up into pieces to form a frame rail, they're going to manual bend us rails for this car and end caps to round the chassis off in the rear. So you might say to yourself, man, I want work done for free, or I want a chassis for free. Well, hell yeah, everyone wants work for free or something for free. So in the description, you're going to find my email address, magicmanmetalfab@gmail.com. Send me an email, what you have, as long as I agree upon it, as long as you are willing to get the vehicle to me and from me and cover all the costs for all the materials, wire, grinding discs, metal, whatever the work is that you want to have done on your car or truck. I'll do all the work for free, and we'll have content for the channel, and we'll keep things, keep things moving. I think it's a nice way of giving back to the community. I think it's a nice way of constantly having fresh content for the channel. I'm not a shop. I don't want to be a shop. I just want to build, cars and trucks for myself and, for the channel. It's really all I'm interested in doing. I don't want to have that burden over my head of constantly being on a time crunch to get vehicles done. So it's hard. I've been down that road. It's not easy. Do me a favor. Smash that like button. And something to consider is on your way to smashing that like button, to the right of the like button, you're going to see another button that says thanks. You can click on that button and send $2, $5, $10. You can send whatever your heart desires. That money goes directly to me. YouTube does not get a cut of it, and it will help out in builds like this later on down the road. So by you supporting the channel, smashing that thumbs up, sharing the channel, commenting down below, supporting the channel, $2, $5, $10, whatever you can, it really helps out. I would really appreciate it. So with that being said, let's get this chassis out from underneath this car and keep the video rolling. So we're going to strip it, pull the front end off, pull the bumpers off, pull the rear bumper off, and get the chassis out from underneath it. It's going to probably take me a day or so. But we're going to build a chassis for free for this car, and it's going to lay rocker. All right, after a half hour or so leveling the car out, we got it leveled on the front. We've got it leveled on the back, and I'll show you why in a second, why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's almost level in the back. It was level. I tweaked the front a little bit, but that's not really important. That's important right there. I'm going to show you why in just a second. All right, so currently I've got a laser shined underneath the car. If you look, you see the laser on the lower rocker right there, but it's not right here, which is good. That's how much we need to take off the frame in order for the car to lay. I'm gonna pull the bumper off. I grinded the corner. Gotta do some grinding. Short story for you. When I was living in Long Island, my buddy Joel gave me these jack stands. I miss you, Joel. Saved it. Next, we got 14 body bolts. We got to crack loose. Definitely gonna be fighting. Definitely gonna be cutting my hands. I can almost guarantee it. Gonna put some gloves on, some safety glasses, my proper PPE. But all seriousness, I am not looking forward to this. Popping these bolts. These are the original body bolts from 1956. Probably gonna have to crack out the plasma cutter on a few of them, I can almost guarantee it. And I'll update you along the way. I don't think you're gonna wanna watch this. We've got all the body bolts out except for one. I wanna say out of the 14, I think I unscrewed 3, if I was lucky. Check this out. Yeah, this is pretty normal for a car that's 70 years old. These are the body bushings. They're all dry rotted, which is normal. So broken, came apart, broken, haha, broken. I got 3. One last piece to pull the body off the chassis. And let me show you what that piece is. Yep, steering column. So in order to get the steering column out on these cars, which are 55 to 57, you have to disassemble the entire steering column, like so. All the pieces. And then take off the steering box from the chassis, slide it out, and then you're able to take the body off the chassis. So this son of a gun is holding us up right now. All right, sorry for the fan, it's hot. The last piece of the puzzle right here. We can pull this pitman arm off, and then we can pull the steering box out. Oh my God. I honestly didn't think it would go that easy. I thought it was gonna fight me tooth and nail. Sometimes you just never know. Wow. We got 3 bolts up here. 1, 2, 3. And we can pull the steering box out. There you are. Not too shabby. Keep on keeping on. All right, here goes nothing. Of course, she's being difficult, as in the car. Fixing to pull the body off, but I gotta cut some 4x4s. I'm gonna show you why. I'm gonna set this like so. I'm gonna cut 4x4 to run across from this post to that post. It'll rest under the rocker, and we'll get this body up in the air. We got a surprise visitor. All right, very nice. So I'm gonna roll the chassis out. I'm gonna slide the cart underneath. We're gonna set the body on the cart and get the chassis back in here, up on the lift. All right, guys, now that the body is off the chassis, you can get a better idea and understanding of what we're working with, what has to be done. So we're gonna start with this line right here that's markered in. It's 1.5 inches. In order for the car to lay rocker, 1.5 inches of the chassis has to be removed completely across. So we got the chassis that we've got to deal with. We've got the oil pan that we've got to deal with. So that LS pan is a standard. They also sell a low profile oil pan, which is probably what they're going to need to end up getting because it's too low. Imagine 1.5 inches of the bottom of the chassis gone. That will leave 3 inches of metal right here. So what we're going to do is have frame rails bent up from SS Chassis Works over in North Carolina. I'll put a link to them in the description. They're going to help us out with this build. Great shop. They mandrel bend all 2x4 box tubing to any shape that you need. So instead of taking 2x4 box tubing and cutting it into sections to mold into the chassis, they can mandrel bend it so it's all smooth and it'll look like a factory chassis. So we're going to remove 1.5 inches off the bottom. We're going to go 1 inch taller. That will give us 4 inches of chassis, right? Follow me along here. The arc of the rear is going to get moved up another 4 inches. When the bags are aired out in the rear, you've got about 5 inches of travel from the top of the rear to the top of this chassis right here. So we're going to have new rails bent up. They'll be about 4 inches taller from the top of the chassis to my hand. They'll go like that. That'll be our notch. So the rear will be able to lay. We're going to cut off all the body mounts, clean them up, reuse what we can. We'll have to make some new ones from scratch. Undecided about the reverse 4-link. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is a little on the smaller side, which I would prefer to have a larger 4-link, but I'm going to talk with the customer, see what they want to do. If they tell me to use it, then I've got to use it. This is a 3-link setup. Now I want to just point something out. So the rear is pretty much almost even as far as tires to the edge of the table, right? Well, the center line, which is right here, this is the center of the chassis. That's the center of the table. You can see we're off for almost 2 inches. So that's because of the 3-link is pulling the rear end, the passenger side of the car. It's been a long day. Personally, I would not have chosen this size of a tire. It's probably going to be really nice to drive on the highway with, but it's not practical to lay rocker. We could save about 2 inches by replacing the front tire. Got to talk to the customer about that. We can leave the rears. The rears are fine. So we're going to need to lower the front end a total of 5 inches. If we can get 2 inches from the tire, 1 inch up top and 1 inch in the bottom, that's going to be 2 inches. Then the 2-inch drop spindle, that's 4 inches. And then Z the frame 1 inch, that'll be a total of 5. The front suspension will be on the ground. They'll be able to use these pretty badass tubular control arms. Their steering will work. They're going to need to replace the inner and outer tie rods, the pitman arm. All that stuff has to get replaced. So whether they order it now and let me install new ones or they do it down the road, that stuff is definitely got to get replaced. So recap, got to remove the oil pan, replace the oil pan. It is too low. You can see we need the cross member here to lay on the ground. And obviously that's not going to work. So smaller tires equals 2 inches. Spindle equals 2 inches. Z in the front end equals 2 inches, which will give us a total of 5 inches, which will get us on the ground. Then the rear, obviously that's a no-brainer. Just a matter of notching the top of the frame. If the arc of the mandrel bend can stay tight enough, we won't have to widen the floor anymore and it won't stick up through the floor anymore. This is all speculation. You won't know until you get the body back on the chassis. I'm gonna build a nice tubular fuel cell to hold in here. And fuel cell rack, pardon me, just tired, been a long day. We're gonna build some nice braces to support the rear of the car onto the chassis because there's a giant section that is gone. Someone decided to weld these mounts to the side of the frame. I spent probably a good half an hour trying to figure out why I couldn't get the body off the chassis, and this was the reason right here. So no biggie. Overall, I've got a lot of great ideas for the car, and I think it's going to come out really nice. I think they're going to be happy. Again, got to keep it on a budget. This is not my car. I can only do what I can do for the customer. It's not an all expenses, paid trip. We gotta work on a budget, and that's my intention, is to clear everything with the customer. Hey, are you okay with this? So this way there's no surprises. Oh, you owe me $1,000, by the way, for A, B, and C. Can't do that to people. That's not how you do things. You got to remember, they're trusting me with their car, and they're trusting me with my experience, as well as my professionalism in building this. I have to keep it real. I have to be honest, and that's the best way to do business. Even though this is a free transaction, still you have to be professional about it. Anyway, please consider supporting the channel. Click that donate button. $2, $5, $10. It goes directly to Magic Man Metal Fab. It does not go to YouTube. YouTube does not get a cut of it. It would really mean a lot to me if you'd consider helping out the channel. Once this car is done, I've got to go probably to Michigan or Texas or something like that, back to work. I'm hoping that once YouTube is finalized and complete, I'm already monetized, but once we start getting the big views, then I could stay full-time and do this full-time. And heck, man, once a month or once every couple of weeks, donate my time on another person's vehicle. That's what my goal is for this channel. This channel, again, is built for you and not for me. So, with that being said, without you, these videos are not possible. That is true and accurate information. Gonna pull the ripcord, got a lot of work to do as far as editing this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, guys.